Hello and welcome back to Cedar Fairs Adventure. Yes, I'm still on the front part of the park. As I said in the first episode, things are going to take a lot longer than normal just due to the amount of detail that I want to add. I've cut a lot of the footage out. There's lots of trial and error as well that you don't see, especially when I start showing the coasters and stuff, which I haven't actually. I've only built one so far, which you haven't seen. That should be in the next episode. But those are just like this, trial and error. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm making an extra entrance. This one is for visitors, not for visitors to the park, but maybe visitors that have come to, I don't know, maybe there's a new roller coaster being delivered and the people from the company who have built the coaster want to drop off some track or something to the park for it to be built. So this is this kind of entrance that I'm doing here. So this is kind of a separate one, which would be a bit more fancy for the people to drive up. This will also have gates. Yeah, this one turns out okay, I think. I add a few kind of warehouse buildings. I'll talk about those when we get onto it. I really like these booths that are in the in-game prop section. I think they're really cool. I put one back in a minute when I've figured out what actually I'm doing here. As I said, this is trial and error for me, just trying to figure out where things are going to go, and also trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the park boundary fence. That's something that it has to be there for you to be able to build it in a park, and trying to figure out where it goes. I do figure it out eventually, but that's why that's there at the moment. So I'm just going to outline the path here with the path boundary border kind of pieces. I really think they finish off a path, they make them look really clean. So it's definitely something that I like to do. It take a while. If you've got patience, then it's fine. You just kind of go around, use the picker tool to select the pieces you've already laid down, so you don't have to keep looking for them again in the scenery selection list. Yeah, so hopefully this shouldn't take me too long here, because I can imagine how boring this is to watch. Me constantly building this kind of you know, backstage, car parks, roads, and I bet you're like, just build a roller coaster. One will come, I promise. Just have to figure out the front first. I feel like I need to really finish each section off before I move on to the next one. Otherwise it all gets a bit cloudy and a bit confused, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So I think when you can really see a finished area, then you really know where to go next. Something I don't always do is actually do all my path joining them up properly straight away. I kind of do it roughly, and it's not till right near the end where I figure out where everything is going to go that I then go in and do all the paths and make them curvy and join up nicely and use all the different kind of colours and things. So here I'm just trying to make something fancy in the middle, just for the visitors coming in. Nothing too crazy, just like a bit of an ornament kind of thing. Later on I make kind of something similar along the side of the car park, just to make that a bit more interesting. So this is actually something I got the idea from Cedar Point. They have like this sign that says Cedar Point on it, and it has these poles that are different shades of blue, and it's yellow in there. And it definitely kind of says that kind of Cedar Point to me. It's got those, Cedar Fair, sorry, it's got those colours. So I think it's something that I did want to incorporate in this park. Actually, before I built this park, I did like a mock-up park. It was one with less details. It was kind of just to figure out some things. It was very different to this park, but it was also along the lines of Cedar Fair. I was trying to kind of create that style, and I'm kind of using some little things from that park that I discovered that I could do in this park. And one of the things are these stripy blue poles, which I think are just a neat little thing to add. So I'm just putting in a few trees here. One thing I do wish we had is some different tree options. We've just kind of got these kind of two main big trees, and the rest of them are kind of round little ones or square ones. In terms of realism, the trees are very cartoony. They're not very realistic at all. Hopefully there's some new ones added in the future. But I think they're okay, they make do. I love how you can place them wherever you like, and you don't have to necessarily take up one whole square tile in the grid for a tree. You can put the tree wherever you like. So here I'm making a warehouse. This is one of the smaller out of the two warehouses. I'll make another one later. I'm using the in-game pieces from the hangar scenery and just some of the kind of corrugated walls that were new in the last update, and just kind of chucking on some random pieces in there, and some of these boxes from the pirate mod set. They just add details inside there. This is the kind of warehouse I think you would find at a theme park where they do off-season maintenance. Maybe they have pieces in there, or maybe some things get delivered. Maybe some of the coaster trains that need new wheels, for example, might go in there. So yeah, I'm trying to really think of everything possible. I'm literally going, every time I build it, I'm thinking, okay, what would a real park have? And then I just try and build it. I do that throughout this whole kind of park process, just always thinking about things. What would the park have, and where would it be, and can I build it? So this is just really rough, just kind of laying down some paths there. And then I go on to start building this, which I just mentioned. This is kind of just a scenery, kind of something interesting to look at while you're parking your car, rather than just nothing. So I kind of just use those poles, what you saw me build earlier. And then I just build half of them and I make a blueprint so I can copy it over and save some time. I think they're just really simple, but they look really cool, and they are actually the pipes from the Pipes and Vents set. Here I am making the blueprint. There's something that's really handy in this game. You can just kind of copy things, save it, and then build it again. I need to put that down again. And I love how you can delete things in the game as well. You can just kind of hold down the mouse when you're on delete and just rub out everywhere where you want to kind of rub out, delete, sorry. As long as it's kind of within if it's the same item, then only those items will delete and the things around it will not delete. I think that's really cool, really neat. So here I'm using these pieces from the Shy Guys 3 set, which is lots of wooden beams, and they have these small ones. These are quarter size. And here I'm just trying to kind of plot out some letters. I want it to spell Cedar Fair. So I use these small pieces and just try and kind of make some letters. So there we have an NF and a C and an E. Yeah, it's something I made up a while ago when I was trying to make a Schwarzkopf coaster. I think the blueprint's around somewhere on the internet with a few loops, and I want it to be called Shockwave or Super Shock or something like that. And I just kind of put the letters. I wanted it to be on like a banner at the back of the coaster, and that's where I kind of thought, oh, I could use those wooden pieces, and I've kind of done it ever since now whenever I've wanted to choose writing. Oh, I do hope that we do get some, maybe as a mod set made, or if it's included in the game, some letters that are kind of quarter tile size, or maybe and then you can just kind of put them everywhere on your coasters. You can make signs and things. I think that'd be a really cool little thing added in. So I'm just going to go and build the other warehouse now. This one is a bigger warehouse next to the smaller one I did earlier, using the same pieces as I made the other one with, so they kind of match. I think this one is a lot bigger. Maybe there would be bigger things in there, kind of similar to the other one. Just, you know, maybe there'd be, whenever a coaster got delivered and they wanted to store some pieces before it was built, they'd put the track pieces in there, or I don't know, that kind of thing. This one's not too complicated, quite simple, just a square shape. Just with bigger doors on the front. And then once this kind of backstage area is kind of completed on this side, that's kind of it then for the front of the park, and I can finally move on to the rest of the park. Let me know what you think of this kind of thing. Do you like watching this? Or would you rather I just built roller coasters and showed you that? Or, you know, or are you actually interested in seeing this kind of thing, this kind of different backstage kind of stuff? I don't really see people do this often, especially with Parkitect. It's something that I've seen in Planet Coaster and Tycoon 3 that people have made. I think it really adds another level to the park if you're going for that kind of realistic thing. But let me know, is it the kind of thing you like watching? Is it boring? Or, you know, I'm not sure what you want to see. Hopefully this is interesting for you to watch. It's something a bit different, I think. Yeah, I love these windows that they added in the game recently, these big ones, and I love how you can kind of sink them inside walls and they don't glitch through, so you can make little smaller windows. That's a really nice little piece. Just using some pipes here and just vents and putting them randomly anywhere just to make it look like there's ventilation. Popping AC units on roofs is always good. You can put them wherever you like. I just think they make it look really real. It's really sometimes the little simple things like that make things look good. And just adding like a border, like I'm doing here around the building, just gives it a bit of style. And that's something that I've kind of always done, just a little trick that I do. So now I'm going to go on to building one other building, which is just a maybe a staff restaurant, I think. Just something a bit different. If the staff were around there, maybe the people inside the park, they want to go on a lunch break. The staff, they can kind of come through a staff gate and come to this area and have some food. So just another little detail that I've thought about, maybe that I could add in. And it was a really simple building, and literally just using some in-game walls, just placing them down. Not trying to make it too square, trying to add a different level to one side just to give it a bit more of an interesting look. Yeah, this area is nearly finished, as I said. At the end of the video, I've actually included some screenshots this time, so you can see what I've done in the last 3 episodes, and not have it, you know, in time-lapse mode where it's really fast. You can just see the still picture, and I kind of pan across it so you can have a little look. I shall do that in more of the videos, I think, as I'm going along. I think that makes some things really easy to see if you want to see what they actually look like without moving really quick. So I shall leave you now to watch the rest of the video. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, again, put them down below in the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer your questions, and enjoy the video. I'll see you next time.